Chicago Bears fans. Welcome to the Bears Den podcast. I'm Andy. I'm joined by Todd, and I'm joined by Chicago Clarence. So let's
What's up?
what's up, guys? How are you guys doing?
Great.
So Clarence,
Good.
I hear you
Doing good.
you have something positive to talk about in your real life, your personal life.
Well,
Yeah. And
the bad
congratulations, by the way.
appreciate it. The bad guys got promotion, and I guess I'll be able to afford to buy a Caleb Williams jersey.
There you go.
They're going to be hard to get, I think. I don't think they're going to be easy to get. So, welcome to podcast number 3. So, let's jump into it. I'm not going to say the person's name, but to quote somebody on social media or the news, he's going to a team that has no culture, has no history of winning as of late. His head coach, we don't know if he is a good head coach, etc. So, Chicago Clarence, I'll start with you. You agree or disagree?
Well, I disagree for a number of reasons. Um, the Bears culture has always been defense. Um, Whenever we've made it to the postseason, it's been based on our defense. Um, Joy Taylor was saying what she was saying based on she didn't know how good the Bears were going to be because of the culture and the locker room. I think she was questioning if we had a decent coach, questioning the decision makers, and what people tend to forget a lot about the Bears is the regime is different now. When Poles got there, he had to pretty much gut that team. We were over the salary cap. We had did, some irresponsible spending. Some of the contracts that we had done, it made absolutely no sense, and it cost us in the long run. So Poles had to get there and basically cut dead weight. And then we had to figure out the quarterback situation. And, some of us was on board with that. Some of us was not. As we talked about in the previous podcast, at the end of the day, it was a good decision money wise because we can reset the clock with a quarterback whom the consensus is a generational talent. So you add him to the mix of what we already got coming back. We had a top 10 defense. We didn't turn around. And I think we all can agree that our wide receiver room is better right now than it was this time last year, bringing in Keenan Allen. So, depending on what we add in the draft, other than Caleb Williams, in my estimation, this is going to be a playoff team. It all depends on who can stay healthy. When you
Right.
have a deep division, a lot of times the team that rises to the top is the team that has managed to stay healthy.
Hmm.
If Detroit has a injury or two, they can be bottom feeders. If Green Bay loses Love, they can be bottom feeders. So it's going to be all and in football. It's always the survival of the fittest. You win
Yeah,
by attrition.
yeah.
So
Todd, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, that's all. That's all pretty correct. Yeah, injuries is the biggest thing. I mean, there's always a
Yeah.
surprise team, but this division is rock solid. I was on, I don't know, one of the betting sites, and it was going over the total wins, and I mean it's tight. They had us and the Vikings at 8.5, the Packers at 9.5, and the Lions at 10.5. So I'm sure that's as tight as any of the divisions out there. From the top to the bottom. There's not a real. I mean, I guess the Vikings have a lot more question marks than us, but as far as number one, I mean, 9, 10 usually gets you in the playoffs, and 4 teams from this division aren't going to the playoffs. So I don't know that she's wrong. She's young, so the culture. If you're looking back 10, 15 years, the culture is not great, and
No,
and
it's
you
not.
know, and Eberflus, had he not taken over the defense last year, I'm not sure he's there right now. I just think that
No.
they made the sweat trade and he took over the defense. I'm telling you, that whole defense changed. Yeah, and
Yes. Yeah.
Stevenson got several games under his belt and became solid, and Jalen Johnson. Johnson became the superstar, and well, that and T.J. Edwards was huge. Somebody's going to get those tackles, but he stepped up and did it, and so I think we started to build our defensive culture. I remember back in the last 6 or 7 years, I look at Tony and say, well, if we're going to win today, the defense has got to do it in the fourth quarter, right? Because that was always our team, and it probably always will be to a certain degree. But I look at these additional offensive players. We never bought offensive players like that ever. I mean, we never made those trades. I mean, there's with Swift and Gerald Everett also on top of Komet, we haven't had those kind of weapons on one squad. There was the Jeffries and Brandon Marshall receivers. They were pretty solid there. The one good year under Cody, and but I think this is better for sure. So.
Yeah, I actually don't disagree with her that much. I mean, we all had questions about Eberflus. We were all ready to run him out of town when this team was 0-4, and we looked like trash. I mean, we looked like straight trash for the first part of the season last year. I mean, and he did save his job. Like Alan Williams, whatever happened there, it really saved Eberflus's job. I don't think Alan Williams would turn the defense around if he would have stayed on.
And for what they say, Eberflus was minutes away from resigning over that, and that's that's not a good thing to happen or anything, but it definitely changed the path of him and the Bears.
Well, let's be clear. I still want Eberflus gone, and it's only because of that I wanted Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh would have been a significant upgrade for this team. I don't think that Joyce Taylor Take would have been that had we had Harbaugh as our head coach instead of Eberflus, simply because of what Harbaugh brings to the table. If you look at his record, winning, what is it, 3 NFC championship games and 1 Super Bowl, even though they lost. I think a lot of the Bear fans would take that, based on what we've been getting before. The guy knows what he's doing. He has won everywhere he's been. So I still wanted Harbaugh. I still think that we made a mistake letting him go to San Diego. I don't care what Eberflus did with the defense and all the other rigmarole. He is still an inexperienced coach. But with that said, with the talent that he's been given, my expectation is we had better get into the playoffs. They had better develop Caleb Williams as a quarterback, or he should be looking for a job because you let one go.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing Harbaugh comes to mind is I don't really want the face of the franchise to be the coach. We've done that before. We've done that more than once. You think of the coach before you think of any individual player, and that. But
that guy won the Super Bowl. That guy won the Super Bowl.
I know, but it didn't make for a very cohesive unit, and a team that should have won multiple Super Bowls. With a lot of the Buddy Ryan stuff that spun out after, those guys couldn't stand each other. It just became a lot of drama after that, and I'd rather. But I was all for the Harbaugh thing. I think it made sense. He was one of us, the whole deal, and I think he deep down probably would have rather came here. But it is what it is. Well, I think, and they're going to get a little bit of time with the rookie quarterback. So I don't think if they fall on their face and win 6-7 games and don't make the playoffs, I don't know that they'll run him out of town this year. They've got that to cling to, but maybe because there's going to be a lot of pressure. As hyped as Caleb is.
I think 6 or 7 wins. His seat's going to get hot.
Very hot. Yeah. Very hot.
Expectations are like up here with this roster. I don't know about 6 or 7.
I mean, because look what he did. Look, I mean, when you look at trading around, when you trade around second round picks, your expectation is what are you getting back is going to help you win. You don't trade second round picks to rebuild. You use second round picks for rebuilding. So the fact that we did that to get Montez Sweat in there, which is a key call, we extended him and signed him to a new contract. Then we turned around and traded for a 31-year-old wide receiver. He's going to be 32 when the season starts, if I'm correct.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
we,
that's 2 year deal at best. I would imagine.
yeah, I mean, but they're talking about even extending him. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is you don't do this if you still thinking that you just rebuilding. You know, you
Right.
don't bring a 31-year-old wide receiver in here if you rebuilding. You just go ahead and just select that. You use that draft pick, and it's a deep wide receiver draft. You go ahead and select your wide receiver in the draft
Right.
in that place. So the expectation, I would imagine, is that we're supposed to be on a upward tink about winning.
Yeah.
And you can't then turn around and tell me that the quarterback that we had before was not the answer. We won 7 games with him, and then we turn around and win 6 or 7 games this year and think that that's going to fly with the Bear fans. It's not.
No.
So if
No.
they win 8 and they miss the playoffs, Eberflus is probably safe. But if they win 6, then he's gone. I mean,
Not in my book. He's not. Unless an 8 gets you in the playoffs and you win a game.
Yeah, well, I don't think 8 gets you in the playoffs. If you just miss the
So
playoffs with
so
8.
that's what exactly. If he
Yeah.
wins, if he wins 9 games or lower, to me he should be typing his resume.
Well,
So-
it could be. I just, you're gonna just start hearing the rookie quarterback thing, which
But you chose the rookie quarterback. You had a
Yeah.
guy already there in place. So that's what I'm saying, though. You chose the rookie quarterback. So for me, as a Bear fan, I don't want to hear no excuses. Plain and simple. You got rid of the offensive coordinator, you got rid of the quarterback, and you said, well, we're not resetting, we're reloading. Okay, if that's the case, you then turn around and you spend money on defense. We ain't seen what you're gonna do in the draft yet. So my expectation is with the weapons that you have, if you take our offense right now and you look at the weapons that we have versus what we had coming in this time last year, it's night and day. The only difference I would challenge you is at running back, because I think we let Foreman go and that was a mistake. So with that said, whatever. You
Okay.
can't then turn around and take a step back and win 6 or 7 games and say, okay, well, we got a rookie quarterback. We on a upward turn. Hell no. That's
Well,
unacceptable.
I'm looking at the playoffs last year. The last team to get in the NFC was our beloved Green Bay Packers, which we could have ruined their season and beat them, but they got in with 9 wins, so 8 wins probably is not going to cut it. This leads me to my next
Right.
question.
No.
Chicago Clarence, who's the best team right now in the NFC North?
Detroit.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are they the best?
I think that when you look at their weapons, when you look at them winning the division, they are still in. I think they got the best defense in the league. I think that they're if you just had to say on paper, to me they're the better team. Now I know we played them tough, we played them well. The both times we saw them last year, we should have won 2-0, but we split. But right now, until we prove that we can beat Green Bay, it's got to be Detroit.
They really seem to sell out. They seem to sell out for Campbell. Like they're in a good place. They've really retained. They lost Chauncey Gardner Johnson's the only player really of note, and Jerry Reynolds, who's their 3rd or 4th receiver. That's who they lost. So they've been able to return most everything, and they're going to be able to add to that. So I expect, I think that shouldn't be a problem for them to probably win the division. I mean, it's going to be it always comes down to injuries, but yeah, I think they're clearly the best team in the league and the division.
My only question about Detroit would be, are they ready to handle pressure and expectations? They've never done that. Never had that. I mean, this used to be a team on the schedule. Okay, we're going 2-0. Who else can we beat in our division? Last year we handled them in the first game for 56 minutes. Then we decided to go in the locker room for the last 4 and quit playing and lost. I think we had +5 on the turnover side.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It was ridiculous.
It was embarrassing that we lost that game. In the second game, I felt like we came out and we made a statement and said, "Hey, we should have won that first game. We are not letting this one get away." So, Clarence, who is the second best team in the NFC North?
The Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
And why? The why is simply because we cannot beat them.
Yeah.
They've got 2 wins coming right out. I mean, that's really with the Vikings. They probably have 4.
And
That
I'm gonna
used
tell
to
you,
be,
and I'm gonna tell you what really galls me is the fact that they look at their schedule and they check off the Chicago Bears as a win
Yep.
every damn season, and
Yep.
and we know this, and we ain't done nothing about it. That really galls me because we no matter who we play before or after them, we are a different team until we see them damn Green Bay Packer helmets.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I don't understand what it is, but we cannot beat them. Even when we have best team on paper, we cannot beat them.
Yeah. It's embarrassing when we play
We're
them.
out coached. We're outplayed every single time we play them.
I've recently watched the very first game of the year and the last game of the year, which was against Green Bay. And as I said before, what stood out to me is they just dominated us in the trenches. I mean, dominated us. We couldn't keep Justin Fields clean, and we really couldn't get to Love, honestly. Even with Sweat in the last game, we couldn't get to him. I mean, their
And we couldn't tackle Aaron Jones.
No,
We
we
couldn't.
never tackled him.
Yeah, we can't tackle Aaron Jones.
If you have Aaron Jones on your fantasy team and you were playing the Bears, you start him.
You better
He's
start him.
RB1. Todd, you agree or disagree that Green Bay is the second best team in the NFC
I
North?
think until we prove we can beat them, they're better than us. So they're number 2. Jordan Love was better than I expected, and sure probably better than you guys expected.
Yes, makes me sick.
It really was. Yeah.
3
Okay,
good
so
quarterbacks in a row.
let me bring this up because Todd, you just brought up something very interesting. We say that Jordan Love was better than what anybody expected, right? We can all agree on that. So when you look at him, the thing that makes him better than what people expected is coaching. Coaching matters. And that's the same reason why my expectation for the Bears to make the playoffs is so high, because coaching matters. So if you're telling me that Eberflus was the right guy and you chose to keep him instead of going out there and getting Harbaugh, then coaching had better be the reason why this team succeed. It had better be the reason why Caleb Williams comes in and starts to play and plays the way you think that he can, which is the reason why you chose him over Fields. Coaching had better be the reason why this team excels. It can't be, you can't lay the excuse anywhere else because you set this team up in every other category. I mean, we got a few holes here and there, but I mean, we can all agree that this is a playoff roster.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the depth chart right now. They're not any better than us. They're not any better than us. Defensively, we're better than them. I mean, they've got some players, but as a starting unit, I would take our unit over their unit. But now they will do. They only team that'll take a quarterback in the middle of the bench for 3 years. That's what every team used to do. I mean, 70s and 80s, maybe even sometimes in the 90s. But nobody's, you're investing that kind of money and that kind of draft capital on a quarterback. He's going to see the field on every other team. But they didn't care about the 5th year. We're going to do it. We're not going to nobody else has the guts to do that these days.
Let me ask you guys something. That brings up an interesting question. Brett Favre, they drafted Aaron Rodgers. He sat for a few years and took the reins.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers, they drafted Jordan Love. He sat for a few years. He took the reins. You think there's still something to that, helping develop a quarterback by letting him sit and watch? And it seems like they're the only team that does it, and they've gotten it right with 3 quarterbacks in a row.
It only works when you got a Hall of Fame guy playing. We can't get that part right. First, we got to get a Hall of Fame. First, we got to get a Hall of Fame quarterback. We keep missing
above average quarterback.
Yeah,
hell,
not
even that. I wasn't a fan of bringing Caleb Williams on and keeping Fields. I felt like you had to make a decision one way or the other, and I would have preferred had we just kept Fields and take that number 1 overall pick and mortgaged it for a bevy of draft picks.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
but we should have did it months ago.
Yeah, like I don't know the exact numbers, but I think they took Rodgers around 23 or 24.
Yeah, he said a while.
on the back, and Love was earlier, but I'm still thinking like 17, 18, where, you know, if you take a guy in the top 10, the fan base is going to be screaming, let's see that guy. Or if you've got Aaron Rodgers, who's still, among the top 6 or 7 quarterbacks, then they won't be. But that's, I'm telling you.
Our fan base is definitely going to be screaming because we are quarterback starved here. So there's no way we're going to watch somebody go in there and stink the place up. And we got, the next hope sitting over there on the bench. We're going to be screaming just like we did with Trubisky,
Right. Yeah, they did that. What, the 6-7 games with Mitch, I think, something like that. And people were jumping up and down for, but that was the number 2 overall too.
Yes,
so we're not talking about.
So Jordan Love was actually drafted 26th. I have his card up right now.
Was it that late? Okay, yeah. So they were right around the same. Yeah, so him and Rodgers are right around the same spot. So yeah, it's preparation and coaching and the whole deal, and that's what makes them the Packers. And the fact that they can pull wide receivers out of the 4th and 5th round that are just, but I think a lot of that's the quarterback play too. If you throw somebody else in there, are they as good as the receivers? Are they good as, I mean, I'm hoping that's the case with Caleb, and that, this quarterback's going to raise the level of these other players. And plus, we brought in really talented guys on top of that. So that's supposed to be the case. You're supposed to bring everybody up a notch if you're the savior quarterback, right?
So let me ask you guys a question. At this point, has there ever been a time, I'd say within the last 20 years, that we have been in position to bring in a quarterback that's as good or better than Caleb Williams is supposed to be? If you look at all our past drafts and when we took a quarterback?
We never have. Never once. Not one time.
No. I mean, the only Hall of Fame quarterback we have in our 100+ years is Sid Luckman. So no, we've never.
Yeah, well,
we've never
going back to Sid. But if you go back to
never. We don't develop quarterbacks in this franchise.
But 83, he was a top 10. But he wasn't the first one off the. We've never had anybody this hyped. When Trevor Cutler, he was like 11, 12. We've never had one. This is another guy, and this individual guy. We've never had this.
So that brings us to the 3rd place team in the NFC North. Where I guess it's the Bears, right, Clarence? 3rd best team is the Bears.
Yeah, no doubt, because Minnesota doesn't have a quarterback, and they don't even know how they're going to get one.
They're going to have to mortgage big time.
I mean, they're in a lot of trouble. Has their wide receiver been extended yet?
Justin Jefferson, not to my knowledge.
Okay, so he's still playing off the rookie contract, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so with that, they're in a little bit better shape, but they need a quarterback, and they have got to find a way to get up there and get one, or they're going to be in a lot of trouble. I think they're firmly the 4th best team in our division, and they don't have really no upside because they lost their best player on defense.
Mm-hmm.
You lost really and truly your best player, which was Kirk Cousins. So you don't have Cousins, you don't have Hunter. You just got a wide receiver that's going to be looking to get paid soon. Who's going to throw him the ball? The one thing you don't want is a disgruntled wide receiver on the football team. They call them divas for a reason.
Yeah, well, not the level of Jefferson. Sure.
Jefferson's all world. Like I don't even know. Okay, let me ask you. You're the GM for the Minnesota Vikings. Clarence, what do you pay Justin Jefferson? What do you pay him? He's all world. Like arguably the best wide receiver in this game. What do you pay him?
You guys think he's the best wide receiver in the game?
He deserves to be in the conversation for sure.
He ain't better than Tyreek Hill.
I mean, he deserves to be in the conversation for sure.
What's Tyreek Hill making this year? $31 million?
We just were talking about
that. If you had that much cap space, would you sign Hill or would you sign Jefferson?
Jefferson for sure.
I'm signing Hill. I mean, well, okay. If it's If the age is the same, I'm signing Hill. Right now, it would be Jefferson
25.
because
Yeah,
he's younger.
25.
Yeah,
Still on a rookie deal.
yeah. But I mean, are you honestly telling me you're going to sign Jefferson and giving him 28, 29 million a year?
Somebody's going to.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
for sure.
Somebody's going to pay that kid.
For sure.
He's going to get paid.
Probably 35.
Yeah, I think he's going to be upward of 30.
There's no way I do that. There's no way.
He's going to be over 30.
There's no way, because you don't have. I mean, you. That's just like buying a new car and you don't have a driver's license. He has nobody to throw him the ball. So why would you then sign him and you didn't got a quarterback?
Hill's 30. Devontae Adams at 28. Yeah, it's going to be 32, 33.
And people were talking about that Cincinnati was trying to trade for him to reunite him with Joe Burrow and Chase.
There's no way Cincinnati would have the cap space because they got to pay Burrow, they got to pay Chase, they got to pay T. Higgins.
They're going to let T. Higgins walk.
Yeah,
they're going to have to.
Yeah, they're going to have to. Is why they're going to let him. A lot of teams, T. Higgins will be the number one, but not with Jamar Chase on the team.
Yeah, the Bengals.
There's no way. There's just no way. There's just no way. I mean, if I had a young quarterback and no wide receiver, that's one thing. But you don't have a quarterback, and you're going to sign a guy and really further hamper your cap and give this guy money. You're just burning through money because you're not winning nothing. You might as well reset. You might as well you get rid of him, get draft picks, and just reset everything.
They would get a boatload, I think, for Jefferson.
That would be the route that I would go. I mean, you might as well reset. You tried it. You came close, but you couldn't get the job done because we all knew Kirk Cousins wasn't the answer. But that's another discussion. But there's just no way I signed that guy to that kind of money, and I ain't got nobody to throw him the ball. I mean, that's just asinine.
I mean, Minnesota is the most likely team to move up to 4 to get the best quarterback left of the next 3.
And people saying that's McCarthy.
Yeah. They have,
I mean, they come out and say it. I don't think it's McCarthy. I'm not on the McCarthy. Yeah. They've got 2 firsts. I think they're going to have to throw in next year's first to get there.
They're going to do 3 first.
It's going to happen, and that's way. Yeah.
You might as well stay where you are and try to get Penix.
Yeah. Well, they should be able to get Penix.
Hope Penix falls to you.
But
hope Penix falls to you.
At 11. I mean, you never know. Crazy things happen in the draft. But so, have you looked at the schedule at all? The opponents, like we're talking about, we're just throwing out, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins. Have you actually looked at it, who we have?
The official schedule's not out. I mean, who we
play they have
is...
the opponents. We don't have the dates. We know the home games and the road games. Yeah. But we have the Panthers at home.
That's a win.
That's a win. We've got the Jags at home. That'll be a tough game. They're a good team. We've got the Rams at home. We got the Patriots at home. That should be a win. Yes. We've got the Seahawks and we've got the Titans at home. We should be able to beat the Titans. That's 3 non-division.
So why is the Rams? Let me ask you, why is the Rams a tough one? They don't have.
I don't think it is. I really don't. But if we say we've got four non-division home game wins, if we throw the Rams in there, on the road games we have the Cardinals, which that should be a win. We got the Texans. I don't know about that. We've got the Colts and the 49ers. I don't know about DC play the Commanders. So if we have 4 home non-divisions, and if we count the Panthers and the Cardinals, that's 6. And if we get one of the Colts or the Commanders, and that's 7. If we split the division, that's 10, right? I mean, you can get to 10 pretty easy. If we just play 500 in the division. So, and we should be able to beat the Vikings twice and the Lions once. So that would be splitting the division, even if we don't win at Green Bay. Or
we have to beat Green Bay once. We have.
Yeah, I think so too. So
we have.
Good luck with that.
It's not crazy that you can get to 11. I mean, it's pretty easy to get to 11 if you ask me. But I think 10 gets you in the playoffs. So.
I mean, last year Green Bay snuck in at 9.
Yeah.
Thanks to us.
Season. Yeah, thanks to us.
Yeah. So I wish that.
I mean, I'm
Panther
looking at it now, and I think that
I don't
we could
see it.
beat the Rams, and I think we can beat the Rams, the Seahawks, the Titans, the Panthers, and the Pacers. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 4, 5. I'm counting the Rams as a win. I'm counting the Vikings as a win. That's 6 wins right there.
Yeah.
If you split with Detroit, that's 7.
Yeah. Well,
The 49ers game would be tough.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see any obvious 49ers and the Texans on the road is, I don't know, but
let's just say for argument's sake we lose that game. I mean the Texans are going to be dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the two toughest non-division games on paper anywhere, the Texans and the 49ers, right?
I'm counting 11 wins. I'm counting 11 wins.
Yeah, so if it comes down to 6, we should make a change because there's no excuse. To not at least. We have to at least. We need to improve on last year's record, even with the rookie quarterback. It's just it has to happen.
Texas did with Stroud and a rookie coach.
That Seahawks game, that's Chicago, and nobody knows the Seahawks like our offensive coordinator, right? So we should have it in there. That should be. That's not an obvious loss by any stretch, and could be a win. And the Titans aren't very good, and they're coming to Chicago too. So,
I mean, when you throw in the Commanders and the Colts, those should be wins. I'm going to say, for argument's sake, we're going to lose to the Texans and we're going to lose to the 49ers. All right. So then you're looking at the Arizona Cardinals. We should beat them. We're looking at the Minnesota Vikings. We should beat them. I'm going to say that we're going to lose to the Green Bay Packers. Then you got Detroit. We should beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go to the other side,
we should at least split. 1-1 of the Packers and 1-1 of Detroit. We need.
I'm saying that we split with Detroit and we lose both games to the Packers for argument's sake. But I feel like we should sweep Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all. That's 4 pretty much guaranteed losses. But there's 17 games, so I mean that's 13.
And then you got the Panthers, and then you got let me pull it back up because for some reason my phone doesn't want to cooperate. Patriots
and home. Those are both wins.
Those are wins.
Titans are wins.
Yeah, I think
could go either way depending on what team shows up for them.
Yeah. Right.
Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like
they're different. They're different. They're coming to Chicago. They're a different team on the road than there. I mean, everybody is, but they can.
The Rams no longer have Aaron Donald, so he can't make our offensive line look foolish anymore.
And they are always hurt. Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford doesn't scare me. Hell, we don't even know he may be hurt by the time we play them.
All right, easy now. I told you years ago we should have traded for Matthew Stafford.
Please.
Back in the Trubisky days. So anyway.
Okay, guys. So next week is the draft.
If you think of this, 10 wins, it has to happen. The draft, yeah.
So next week is the draft. It's like Christmas Eve for us, because we know we're going to get maybe the greatest quarterback we've ever had, or maybe another huge mistake, and everybody's laughing at us again.
So what's the plan? You guys coming up or no?
Well,
yeah, I plan to come to your thing.
Same place?
Cool.
Yeah.
Same place. All right.
So with that, I'll let Clarence sign us
again.
out. I'll let Clarence sign us out, and guys, we'll see you next week for the draft. Clarence, take us home.
Okay. So what I'm going to talk about today is what we already been discussing, and the fact of the matter is that there is no excuse for not making the playoffs. And as Todd said, we're looking at the schedule. I see 10 wins, maybe 11 wins, easy. And all of this is predicated that we don't have a major injury, because we know how injuries can change the game for you. But with that said, if we are relatively healthy, we should win 10, 11 games, and we should make the playoffs. If not, Matt Eberflus should be typing up his resume and getting ready to get out of town. And as you guys always say, no, I'll come help his ass move.
Yep. 2 men in a truck. We'll go to Chicago. Help me move.
No, just Clarence in his truck.
All right, guys.
You guys be good. Talk to
See you
you
next
soon.
week.
Yeah. Next
Bye bye.